Hey guys, this is drummer 21208 from BoilerTeam here on YouTube. This is our first video that we're going to be uploading. My partner will be doing his Light Swarm video next, and then we've started to put together a binder. I don't know, we're new on the block, so first up is my Fishy deck. I will actually be running this at the Shonen Jump on November 14th in Columbus, so if any of you will be there, hopefully you'll see me run it in person. Our heart and soul of the deck is Super Ancient Deepsea King Coelacanth. That's this guy right here. He's a 7-star. What he does is you can discard one card from your hand per turn to special summon as many level 4 or lower fish type monsters from the deck. Now what we do with him is just to pull out Synchro Bait. So we have 3 of them. Now, as I mentioned, the Synchro Bait, that leads us to our next guy, which is the Royal Swamp Eel. He's our 4-star fish tuner. His only requirement is that when he tunes, the other monsters that he tunes with have to be fish type, which isn't an issue with this deck since everything is fish. We have 3 of him. Next up is the Golden Flying Fish. He has an effect that you can sack another fish type monster to destroy one card on the field, but we never really use that with it. He's just another easy 4-star sink bait material with the Royal Swamp Eel so that we can get our easy 8 stars. We have 2 of him. Next up is our 4-star beater, 7-colored fish. Yeah, old school, people laugh every time they see him, but he's an 18 beater, and he works great with our synchros. Next up is the Ocean's Keeper. We run 2 of it as well. If he is destroyed by battle, we get to search the deck for a Cranium Fish, which we will get to later. Also, 3-star, if we need to sink for 7, we can do so. The Cranium Fish. You can normal summon him, or you can special summon him by attributing the Ocean's Keeper. And his ability allows you to discard water-type monsters to destroy face-down cards, as many as you want. So, you may use him every now and then. Next up is our Earthbound Immortal of the deck, Chacu Challhua. His main thing is just, again, we have a 28 beater with the Super Ancient Deepsea King. He's a 29 beater with his effects. We'll get to the field spell cards that allow him to work in the deck later. But for now, he's able to stop attacks in defense mode. He's got his 1200 damage effect, or we can swing through for 29 direct by his other ability. Blackwing, Gale, the Whirlwind. This is just in case we have that random 4-star out on the field and have a need for Armor Master, or say we have Ocean's Keeper on the field and have a need for Armed Wing, which we have right here, just in case. And if not, he's a 13. We can always half that Stardust and swing through it, whatever we need him for. And our final monster of the deck is Plague Spreader, also fitting with our sink theme that this deck likes to do. We can bring him back at any given time for any 5 or 6-star sink. I currently have my box of Hidden Arsenal on pre-order, so hoping to get that Brionac and Catastor. That's where Plague Spreader will come into play a bit more. And if I do get my hands on that Brio, we will most likely be swapping out one of the Ocean Keepers for a Chrysalis Dolphin, just as a 2-star fish that we'll be able to pull out with Deepsea King and get that first turn quick Brio sink along with Stardust, which is generally what I abuse with this deck. To our magics, we start off with Mausoleum of the Emperor. This is what allows us to do our first turn massing. Whether we have the Cranium Fish, preferably the Deepsea King, or the Earthbound Immortal, we can play Mausoleum, use its effect to pay 1,000 life points per tribute needed to put them on the field. So, we Mauso into Deepsea King, ditch a card for Synchro Bait, and by the time our opponent ever draws, we have more than enough to deal with whatever they want to throw at us. 3 Mausoleums. Next up is Book of Moon. We're going to start getting into the backfield support of this deck now, which is quite the opposite of our monsters. Our monsters are designed to swarm the field as fast as possible, where our backfield is designed to keep our opponents from having anything. So we have 2 Book of Moons for obvious reasons. Next up is 2 Pot of Avarice. This is because with how fast we go straight through the deck with the Deepsea King, we easily get a lot of monsters in the grave and thin the deck out very quick. So this helps repopulate the deck and gives us the only actual draw power in the deck. We know in today's metagame that hand advantage is superior, and in this deck, you know, we turn the deck into our hand. So we just need to keep repopulating that. Swords, just in case we don't have what we need to mass the field, gives us a little bit of stall power. Heavy, MST. The traps contain the majority of that opponent stopping power that I've mentioned before. So we run 3 compulsories. Personally, one of the cheapest cards in the game. I love it to death. That explains itself. 2 bottomless, again, necessary in practically any deck in any format. Next up, Phoenix Whirlwind Blast. You know, there's a lot of cards in this deck that have us discard cards for cost, but again, hand advantage doesn't really matter, being that we use the deck as our hand. So 2 Phoenix Whirlwind Blasts, just to again stop our opponent whenever we need. Next up, we run 2 Divine Wraths, again with ditching cards to destroy things, but like I continually say, we don't need the hand advantage with this deck. So this is great for stopping, say, Lightsworn, say that Lumina effect, or Lilla, Angel, JD. That's what the Divine Wrath is for. We have 2 Dark Bribes, one of which I have as a proxy right now. A friend of mine is borrowing one. I should have that back on Friday. These are to help stop, you know, say a Charge of the Light Brigade, or a Solar Recharge, or, you know, any backfield support that your opponent may have, be it a Mirror Force, you name it. This is there to keep us safe. We have Torrential Tribute. If we don't have our monsters, you know, out yet, and that Lightsworn or that Turbo Vayu gets its stuff off fast like it's supposed to, you know, we can always Torrential to save ourselves for a while. Mirror Force, self-explanatory, and Solemn Judgment, self-explanatory. That's about it, guys. Like I said, we've got the Armor Master and the Armed Wing for the Gale. Our normal other synchros, we may get into a Goyo. We may get into a Fairy Dragon. If we need to repopulate life points from using Mazo, we can always sync for Fairy Dragon, destroy our field spell, get another one, just keep it in hand and use it as the ditch bait for our Phoenix Whirlwind Blast or Divine Wraths and whatnot. Stardust, my general thing with Deepsea King, I like to bring out 2 Stardusts on turn 1, bring out the 3rd one on turn 2, and then whatever else from there. It just gives us that complete power from being destroyed by things our opponent controls. The protection is key. And then Colossal and Thought Ruler Archfiend, just in case you need them for something. It's just, again, 8 stars that we can use as we see fit, depending on what opponent we're using. So that's it for my Fishy deck, and hopefully we will see you guys at the Shonen Jump on the 14th.